All right, we're doing another Clone Wars breakdown. The Siege of Mandalore. It's basically a movie, part 2. It's part 2 of the finale of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Just as good, maybe better. I don't even think it matters. Like, there's really no, like, what was the better episode? It's just breaking down one movie into 4 parts. It was awesome. That's what matters. Another awesome 30 minutes of something that I want all of at once. But we did get news. The next 2 parts come out within 3 days of each other. They came out on Friday. Let me get the date up. It's Friday.
I believe it's May 1st and
May 1st and May the 4th,
Yeah.
obviously. So we will get the final 2 parts of this very close to each other. This is unbelievable. This is basically just, it's another, I saw an article, someone called it like the prequel movie fans deserved. Like, this is what we wanted. So cool. I mean, one of the best lightsaber duels I've ever seen in Star Wars was in this episode.
Dude, I got chills. You just saying that. I stayed up until 3 in the morning last night to watch this, and it might have been like the euphoric, oh my god, I'm getting a little sleepy, but I have to stay up to finish the episode, because I decided that at about 1:45. I was like, all right, I'm going to stay
That's
up
close
till
enough.
Siege of Mandalore.
An hour 15, yeah.
I could stretch it. I could make it there. This might have been my favorite 24 minutes of Clone Wars I've ever seen in my life. The entire episode, from the camera angles, from the episode 3 tie-ins, to the music cues, to the lightsaber battle, to that final Ahsoka Maul confrontation, the conversation they had about Sidious and everything like that. I could not love this episode more, could not be more excited for the next 2 episodes. And like you said, I can't wait to watch this when all 4 episodes are out together, and I could watch 1, 2, 3, 4
Yes.
and treat it as a movie.
How fucking happy you think Filoni and all them are, knowing that, like, just watching all of our criticism from assholes like us being like, oh, you don't like those episodes? Just wait, motherfucker. Wait
I
for
know,
these
the last 4 episodes. They shouldn't have put out the last 4 episodes. They should have just, even if they finished them, they should have been like, let's
They could have just
fuck you
released,
guys.
go right to the Siege.
I don't know if it was like the first 4 were cool. They were unfinished, right? The Bad Batch. People had seen them. They wanted to see them for years. You could have been like, we were releasing 1 movie, and I would have been happy. Like, I don't even.
We're like talking about something different with these episodes than the 8 we saw prior.
People, I had somebody to ask me. They're like, "Are you like hiding the fact that you're really upset with the Clone Wars?" I'm like, I'm not. I said I'm being optimistic. There's a dream scenario where the last 4 are so unbelievable you forget about the first 4. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, that was a dream scenario. I didn't think it was gonna happen. Completely, I don't care.
Happened already.
Yeah,
it
was
happened.
fine. The first 4 were okay. The second, not as great. I don't care. Don't give a shit about them. They had cool Easter eggs. This is it. This is it right here. It is so good. Let's talk about it, though. The Phantom Apprentice is what the second part is called. We start off. It's a complete continuation of the last episode. I've actually seen rumors, like the Star Wars Reddit, that like there's union issues with like the credits and everything. That's why they may not be able to combine all 4. But fans are going to edit them all together. But they can, because it was seamless. It was exactly where the last part left off. Maul tells Ahsoka he really wanted Obi-Wan. He's like, he's like, I don't know, fuck. Who are you? It's who the fuck are you? That's basically what it is. I gotta throw McGregor up there. He kind of slowly realizes, like, look, like, maybe this is all happening now. Maybe the thing that I've learned about is actually taking place. He's referring to the takeover of the Republic from Sidious, Order 66. He says the moment may be upon us. He said, soon the Jedi and the Republic will no longer be the controlling interest. And Ahsoka asks, well, who is that? And he says, it's Sidious, Darth Sidious, who Ahsoka does not know about. She's not aware of who that is. And as he's going through all this, Ahsoka's still down there. The clones come and save the day. She kind of hit on her comm link on her wrist for them to come help her. And so Rex and them save her. And Maul and the are the, I guess, the bad Mandalorians, the Maul DeLoreans, if people call them. They run off. They go back into hiding.
What's his main guy, Saxton? Is that the
Gar
Saxon?
Saxon.
He looks like Julian Edelman. Every time I see that guy, I'm like,
Julian
fucking Julian Edelman helping out Maul.
See that? Yeah. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka have a meeting. Very cool moment here that completely bridges the gap between the 2 movies.
So excited.
It gives you a good hint as to when this is taking place. So this is very clearly taking place a little while after the the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
It happens a little longer after, I think, a couple initial meetings. It's when Obi-Wan's assigned to Utapau. He's told to go to Utapau to track down General Grievous. So it's after those meetings, the hologram meetings, like you were late. Things are going well, Anakin. All those. And if you're watching this video, I'm showing you on the screen like fast forward what has happened since. I'm basically gonna do that. I'm doing like a sped up version of what has happened between the beginning of Resistance and where we are now. So now we're about to get into some crazy shit because now Anakin and Obi-Wan are gonna be split up, and they basically already are in the context of the Clone Wars. And Obi-Wan says, "Yeah, I'm going to Utapau." And he explains who Darth Sidious is. They're like, we have had fears about him for a while. We think that he's orchestrated the Clone Wars from the get-go. Also tells Ahsoka that Anakin has killed Dooku, and that's why they can't learn anything about Sidious. And that kind of implies that Obi-Wan might not be too pumped that Anakin killed Dooku because they don't have the information now. They're like, the only way we had to get information was from Dooku, and he's dead. And Ahsoka's kind of shocked by that, too. You can see in her face. She's like, really? Like, Anakin
there's a couple dramatic pauses in this conversation that imply Obi-Wan probably isn't too fond of what Anakin just did, and Obi-Wan is feeling a little iffy, and then they have the conversation about the Chancellor, and Ahsoka's like, he's been such a great friend to Anakin. No way. Like, you shouldn't be spying on him. He must not be happy about that. And they have the conflict, and just the look on Obi-Wan's face is a very mature Obi-Wan, like, yeah, shit might be going bad right now.
Mm-hmm. It's weird too because they don't really know. At least Obi-Wan doesn't know that like Dooku was literally executed. He wasn't like killed in combat. Like he was literally dishanded, and like he was in no way able to shape and form to like fight back. And like Anakin executed him. So Obi-Wan doesn't even know that, but you almost get the sense that he feels that that's what happened, right? Because he was knocked out during this whole scenario. Because you can kind of sense that sort of darkness rising in Anakin and all that. And I guess right now when he's contacting Ahsoka, this must be right when him and Anakin part ways. Like that one scene in Revenge of the Sith where, they're both talking right before Obi-Wan gets on the cruiser to go to Utapau. Like when he says, like, I forget what the line is, but it's a decent line.
The Wookiees are down there.
Yeah.
They had that.
I'd like to see a fan edit where they put this like actually in Episode 3. If someone could put the Siege of Mandalore and Episode 3 together somehow, I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yes.
Obi-Wan, as you said, Robbie, this is kind of the main point of their conversation, notes that Anakin's been assigned to observe the Chancellor. And Ahsoka actually reacts in the same exact way, which is cool to see that Anakin did. He's like, you want me to spy on the Chancellor? And Ahsoka's like, you want him to spy on the Chancellor? It was perfect because she still has that connection to him. We saw the last time they departed, Anakin was very upset and emotional. She was emotional as well. It was a bittersweet moment, but a lot more bitter than it was sweet. They were very upset that they had to part ways because they are it's brother sister basically. I mean they have basically a family tie, despite the fact they aren't family because neither of them have a family. So it's like Anakin's got Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. So you can feel that bond, that connection when she reacts the same exact way that Anakin did. But Obi-Wan does admit, he said the council's not always right, which is classic Obi-Wan and why Obi-Wan, is one of the few that fucking survives because he has the foresight on these things. And he says, they may not always be right, Ahsoka. Just keep that in mind. And then Ahsoka tells Obi-Wan to tell Anakin. She says, like, tell Anakin, and he cuts her off and says, I will. So we don't really know what he was going to say, but we assume it's something obviously very heartfelt.
He's like, not to kill children, I will.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah, don't worry. He's not going to kill any youngling. He won't kill the librarian today. Darth Maul.
No, kill the librarian. She stinks.
Yeah, she was.
Jocasta Nu, right?
Kamino not existing.
Fuck Jocasta Nu. Terrible.
Mean person. Darth Maul has captured a clone. He's captured Jesse, and it's been told to Ahsoka that Jesse is an older clone, which is very important. Not totally yet, but it will be. He's an older clone, and that attracted Maul to him. Probably a big tease to something having to do with the chip in Jesse's head, because Rex is an older clone as well. How will that factor into Order 66 and how they're able to get the chips out of their head? Big tease. That's a very important thing that is not totally paid off yet, but I imagine will come into play. That Maul wanted an older clone, would be an easier clone to manipulate. Maul then, we'll get to a little more about, there's a lot of Easter egg stuff we'll get to later. There's a little thing here with Maul and interrogation that we'll get to in Easter eggs. But Maul is able to reveal to that clone, we now see Maul with Jesse, the captured clone, that there is a plan. There's a huge plan going down that he wasn't informed of initially, but he learned about, right? Like we found out about that Maul finds out about the plan. It was Savage Opress, right? Is that who told him? Yeah, when he finds him as the big fucking spider, he kind of clues him into what's going to happen. There's something going on, Darth. You have spider legs now, but you're back, and there's shit going down behind the scenes, secret stuff. So Maul learned about it, and he's kind of revealing like there is something a lot bigger than us that's happening right now. And he even knows, he's like, look, I'm not a part of this. I got left behind. I'm just a pawn in the game. We're all pawns at this point. And there's a little bit of symbolism. He's like waving his hand, and you see the Imperial logo on Jesse's chest. So that's kind of neat. And then he pulls information from Jesse and he says, like, look, I don't give it. Jesse's like, I'm not giving you anything. Maul's like, that. It doesn't work like that. Like, I'm taking all of it. I will take every bit of information that I can. Meanwhile, Ahsoka and Bo-Katan are interrogating the Prime Minister. He's in jail. He's a coward. Guy sucks.
He's a real bitch. He's like, I'm not telling you anything. And Bo-Katan literally takes one step towards him. And he's like, all right, what do you want to know?
Sure, yeah. He's
anything you want.
He's shot by Gar Saxon. Darth Maul sent Gar Saxon to take him out. He's like, take him out before he becomes an asset, because he is about to become an asset. And he does help him a little bit. He tells him that Maul was not really there for Obi-Wan. He really wants Skywalker. He's the one he's been talking about. He gives him the Skywalker. Someone noted, too, it's like a little bit like how Yoda said there is another Skywalker. I'm not going to pull too many comparisons there, because I don't think the bitchy Prime Minister of the Mandalorians is comparable to Yoda, so we won't offend Yoda. Bo gives chase to Gar Saxon after he shoots the Prime Minister. Very cool Mandalorian battle in the skies and down elevator shafts.
So good.
Cool to see
the
that.
elevator shaft scene was incredible when she hits the jetpack and it starts crushing her, but she's still holding it up. Oh, so good.
Now, it's not simultaneous with Revenge of the Sith, but it is cool to see that this prequel movie gets an elevator shaft scene as well, much like that. Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, very popular in the prequels. So again, more cool Mandalorian action. We've now been accustomed to anytime we see Mandalorian, something cool happens between this and the Mandalorian. Gar does get away. Bo's able to escape. She kind of holds an elevator up using her jetpack, and she flees with the clones. Gar Saxon meets up with Maul. Maul is having a meeting with the Shadow Collective. We will get to a very cool Easter egg in this one. Very cool Shadow Collective Easter egg that dips into Star Wars lore. Apparently, he's told the Shadow Collective to go into hiding. He's like, look, hide now. Shit's about to go down. You don't want to be caught in the crossfire. He says that him and Dooku are always a step behind. He mentions something about like how he doesn't use these words. This is me, not Dave Filoni or Star Wars. He's like, I never liked that old codger, but I understand what he was going through now. Like, I can see what was happening here. He tells the Mandalorians that he will lead them as warriors. He won't let them rot and die in the sewers. That we will go into battle. I'm not just going to leave you here, so you're just in hiding forever. Now we get Ahsoka versus Maul Part 2. They go to the throne room. They're trying to talk about what to do next, and he's just sitting like a boss in the chair. He doesn't give a
cool the way he's sitting there.
Yeah, he's not fancy. He's got one leg up. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, come on. Come confront me. Bo-Katan tries to go dispatch of him, but he turns around and dispatches very quickly of Bo-Katan. The throwing of the lasers was awesome. It was great.
That was Han Solo versus Darth Vader.
Yes,
Empire, right there.
Yes, it was. That's the first thing I thought of. First thing I thought of.
Yeah.
I know that's one of your favorite scenes, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's very true, yeah.
This was awesome, and all of the stuff that came right before it that Jeff was just talking about, where Darth Maul was sort of cluing in people and telling the Shadow Collective shit's about to go down. I loved all of that. I don't know what it reminded me of necessarily, but him talking about being a pawn in the game, and then the conversation he has with Ahsoka coming up where he talks about the grander plan for all of it. Why don't we see that in Star Wars more? Because it's so awesome.
It's also just good writing. Like, I will say that, and I've seen a lot of people note this, or like, something about this episode that really stuck out. Not that the last one wasn't. This one had a lot more exposition, had a lot more dialogue, a lot more conversation. It's just very good writing. And not only are we not used to seeing that all the time in Star Wars, we're just never used to seeing that with anything related to the prequels, minus Clone Wars, but not to like this depth. We had a tweet at Lights Camera Barstool account where someone was like, this seems rather heavy for Star Wars, especially Disney. Like, since Disney's got it, like, it is for an animated Star Wars thing. This was rather heavy, and the writing was a big reason why. Give them a lot of credit. So very
like this
well-written
upcoming
episode.
Scene that we're talking about. Credit to Sam Witwer for his Maul performance, because holy shit, the Ahsoka Maul conversation into the fight up in my favorite prequel moments ever.
Yep,
undoubtedly.
Yeah, that dialogue, too, I think just builds up so well to the point that Maul makes, which is that her and Maul are not very different after all, even though you consider them to be like polar opposites. They really are very similar in where they are right now in their stories.
Before that happens, he does return Jesse. We see he's got a little bit of sympathy. He doesn't kill Bo-Katan. He's like, all right, just go back. Go back to Ahsoka and the other. Like, stop messing with me right now. Like, I have one goal here. You're just really getting in my way right now. He gives them back Jesse. He's like, I got what I needed. I'm not going to kill him. Again, a little sympathy for the clones. He knows that everyone there is just a pawn in the game at this point. Like, it's too far gone. Like we've been pawns all along. We're just chess pieces. Take him back. So Jesse goes back. Jesse apologizes. He's like, look, I told him everything. I had no choice. Ahsoka's fine with that. They all kind of run off because Maul looks off in the distance and sees that his Mandalorian fighters are fighting the rebellious Mandalorians in the skies. It's a siege of Mandalore is really taking place now. The battle's going on. He's like, you probably want to go tend to that. You can go fight. That ain't my fight.
Great line.
Yeah, that's basically him saying that ain't my shit. Go you. That's you. I'm not getting in your way. You can go do that. So they run off, and now it's just Maul and Ahsoka. And they kind of go back and forth about Sidious, and he tells Ahsoka, like, look, like, we cannot defeat him alone. Like, he's, again, too far gone is the term I'm going to use, because they're way too far in the process. We don't really know exactly where this is lining up with Revenge of the Sith, but again, it's very far into it. It's got to be very close to when Anakin turns on Palpatine, or excuse me, turns on Mace Windu, because not long after Obi-Wan leaves for Utapau, that goes down. We see the crying, we see the temple on fire, all that. So we're right around that moment. And so when I say too far gone, really, but Order 66 is about to take place. He says the only laws and injustices are the ones that will replace it, meaning Sidious. That's all that matters to this point. There's nothing that Ahsoka can do. And he says that together they can take down Darth Sidious. Like join me, Ahsoka. We will take him down. Like, I don't like him either. You don't like him. We have a common enemy here. Again, the Siege of Mandalore continues to rage on. We see some cool battle scenes outside. I mean, Mandalorians and jetpacks fighting in the skies with clone troopers.
Always
Perfect.
Cool.
Very
cool. They were fucking
Always
up the clones bad. The clones had a tank on that causeway, and they were getting fucked up by the Mandalorians. Like, how?
I think Mandalorians too heavy on the initial attack, because then they end up getting destroyed.
Yeah.
They went
and the Bo-Katan Mandalorians all have in the blue. They all look like Jango Fett, so it's like, oh my god, a bunch of Jango Fetts coming in. It's the coolest thing ever.
Blue.
The windows explode in an awesome scene, and like debris flies in. It sets up this very cool moment. Again, another save that for Easter eggs. Ahsoka agrees to help, but she wants to know more. She's like, fine, I'll help you. Because remember, she ain't really a Jedi anymore either. She's just here for betterment of the galaxy, and Sidious is not part of that plan. For her, at least. Maul says that Anakin is the key to everything. And she's like, oh, balancing the Force? He goes, no, destroying it. So Maul has seen. Maul knows. Maul knows what's about to go down. He knows that Anakin is the bad guy. Anakin is the apprentice. He's the villain. And he says, like, he will be my master's new apprentice. And Ahsoka just doesn't believe that. And Maul says, I started this Siege of Mandalore, everything that's happening right now. I started it to lure Obi-Wan to kill Anakin with me, which is crazy. He didn't want to kill Obi-Wan. He wants to bring Obi-Wan there to kill Anakin. And Ahsoka doesn't like that at all. And then one of the best lightsaber battles ever. I don't know, whatever. Prisoner of the moment.
So good.
I refuse to say prisoner of the moment. This is better than the fucking Darth Maul fight from Phantom Menace. I'm sorry. It's a better fight. It's a better fight.
I'm not gonna go that far.
It's a better fight. It's a better fight. I'm sure they didn't choreograph it as much either. It's like a footloose dance routine.
Good. It's good. Don't get me wrong.
This is the one thing I'll say. The one thing I really want to note about it is that a lot of times with Clone Wars, and this is just from a technical like animation standpoint, they move very quickly during lightsaber battles. Like the animation, like it's not that it's incomplete; it's just too quick. This was so well animated; it almost looked like they were doing it in mocap suits because
we'll get to that in Easter eggs.
It was so human. It was so fluid and so human. It looked so real and raw. It was great.
We will talk more about the breakdown of how they did the lightsaber. Look, I again maybe prisoner of the moment, but that just. There's an emotion. I cared about this fight. When I watch Phantom Menace, I don't care until Qui-Gon dies, because this fight just had, I don't know, like there was personality, these characters. There's so much emotion built into it. It was a very raw fight as well, which is those are lightsaber fights that I like. It eventually goes to the sky. Ahsoka's taunting Maul, by the way, in the meantime, about like her skills, like, oh, you're lucky Anakin didn't show up. He killed your ass right away. You stink. Ahsoka, they stopped the fight and said, you stink. You're not even that good.
Your brother would beat you up.
He escapes a little bit. A cool moment, he jumps out the window and his lightsaber like cuts out part of the wall. She follows him. She sees the Siege of Mandalore is taking place, and she finds him, spots him, and she jumps up, chases after him, and now they're in the skies. They're basically tight-roping, which it kind of mirrors a little bit what looks like the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan as well. I'm not saying they happen at the same time, but it's the same like tightrope walking, fighting in the skies, hovering over basically imminent death. So they're fighting there. Ahsoka loses lightsabers. By the way, if you fight with 2 lightsabers, you're always going to lose one. We've learned that. Like, no one possesses the ability to fight with 2 all that
Maybe that's the reason why people fight with 2. Maybe it's like if you're a klutz and you're constantly dropping your saber, they're like, just throw another one in there.
Exactly.
Maul doesn't know she's tracking him down, though, at one point, and as he's saying that, I just want to note he does tell the Mandalorian, he tells Gar Saxon, like, die well. So he
so funny. I laughed out loud at that when he was like, you got to get back down here, Maul. We're really losing forces. And he's like, no.
Which is interesting because we know, KenJac, from Rebels that Gar Saxon fights with the Empire. So he views that Maul is the villain there, and he's part of the Empire now. So we know that, but Maul very much abandons the Mandalorians, which will take some sort of effect on the Mandalorian at some point. That will play a factor in it. That Maul just abandoned even the people they supported. So that leads me to believe that maybe some of the Mandalorians do eventually turn back to the good side and they merge with Bo-Katan and all them because they're like, well, Maul abandoned us. How can we support this guy? Maul eventually gets Ahsoka with his lightsaber versus no lightsaber. She's in trouble. He's got a ship there. We don't know who's in the ship. We don't know who's about to pick him up. And she's about to fall off this ledge. He's trying to, like, press the ledge down further so she falls. And then she makes a move and cuts the ledge with his lightsaber. And he falls to his death until Ahsoka saves him, pulls him back up with the Force, and he's screaming, just let me die. He's like, look, I don't want to be captured. I can't be captured. Everyone's doomed. You're doomed. I'm doomed. Just let me die. But she pulls him up, and the clones come, and they capture him and knock him out. And that's how we end the episode, that Maul is now captured. But we know that we're on the cusp of Order 66.
That's the only part I didn't really like, is the fact that he was so eager to die in that moment, because the one thing I've always really liked about Maul, and one of the characterization that I think they've really impressed upon us, is that he's a survivor, right? Like, he always wants to survive no matter what is happening to him. And him in that moment to just be like, kill me, kill me. Maybe it's like that's how dramatic this vision is to him, that he just, all of that's out the window. He really just wants to die. But at the same time, I'm like, I really wish he was just like, I'm gonna find a way to escape, no matter what.
There's a weird thing about this. The only issue I had with the entire, and it's not even really an issue, but I was watching this scene, and Maul has her at a moment where he slices the beam, and it starts to tilt. And Ahsoka is standing like here, and Maul is standing here. And I was thinking, why don't you just slice right here, and then the whole beam falls with her? You're holding a lightsaber, bro. You just showed that you could cut through. You know, lightsabers can melt steel beams. So I don't know.
Lightsabers can melt steel.
Well, remember, he doesn't even know about the high ground, so you know he didn't.
True.
Yeah, no, Maul, notoriously bad fight IQ, as they say in the MMA business.
I see the point of him wanting to survive, but I think with him, I think he's impressed upon the fact that the inevitability with everyone else is so bad that he doesn't want to die at the hands of Sidious. He doesn't want to die at the hands of the Emperor, and so if he can't escape, if he can't escape on his own merits, he doesn't want to be with them and knocked out, and then he wakes up and he's just with the people who are about to have Order 66 take place. I mean, I guess that just shows how bad he thinks it is.
Another episode end, by the way, where they kind of just like fade to black, whereas normally it's the dun-dun, and they circle in. I like that because it feels more like a movie when we continue.
Big intermission.
Easter eggs. Maul pulls information from Jesse, much like Kylo Ren does in The Force Awakens. So we've seen that in the sequel trilogy, not really in any of the prequel stuff or the original stuff. So that was pretty neat. He does that hand grab and pulls all the info right out of him. A lot of musical cues throughout the entire episode. We got the Imperial March a couple times. When the Prime Minister says Skywalker, it's the Darth Vader unmasked music from Return of the Jedi again. Those very small, like, bells. I don't know musical instruments, but that very small music moment at the end of that song when Darth Vader dies, Return of the Jedi. Duel of the Fates. We had a little bit of a Duel of the Fates vibe with the Ahsoka and Darth Maul fight. It was a new score, it was a new song, but there were those same kind of vibes, and I think a few maybe
it's
notes.
like the choir.
It was almost like they had like the samurai drum things. Like whenever they have like a samurai movie fight, they always play like that same like sort of like I don't know what you would call it, but it's some sort of drum, and it was so sick because it accompanied
those big Blue Man Group drums.
Yeah, exactly. And it accompanied it so well because it was like a samurai fight. It was so sick.
The Palpatine theme is in there too. I saw some people say Mandalorian theme. I scrubbed through. I did not find the Mandalorian theme. Maybe it was. I don't think it was in there. I think we may hear it. I think we'll hear the Mandalorian theme by the end of this movie, but I don't think we heard it in this one.
It's an interesting thought.
That's one thing. We since we started doing these reviews, I now actually very intently listen to see if I can pick up any musical cues.
Yes.
Because of this happens all the time now between this, Westworld, and all of our other recaps.
Super intentional in this too, as you can tell. You know Filoni loves using the old Star Wars music. Maul meeting with the Shadow Collective, Zaitan Maj, who some people thought it was Prince Shizor. It was not. It was Zaitan Maj. I don't know how to exactly say his name, but he's been the Shadow Collective before. He looks like the Shadows of the Empire character, but it's not him. Wikipedia said it was Zaitan, or however you pronounce it. So no, not Prince Shizor, or Izor, as I said, as a small child. Mark Krim is there as well. And then the third member was Dryden Voss from Solo. It was Paul Bettany's character from Solo, just standing there for 3 seconds. I didn't pick up on it at first, but yeah, and then it was Dryden Voss.
I was watching it, and that was my Leo meme moment. My Leo from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, Dryden Voss, that guy.
Yeah.
Plug in his face when he gets mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's right. A little cut.
I forgot that happens. Honest to God, I forgot that happens.
Marge Krim, great name, by the way. Let's not call him Marg. Let's call him Marge Krim.
Marge Krim, yeah.
Big Marge Krim.
KenJac, you actually called one of the Easter eggs. If you watch the credits, Ray Park did the motion capture for Darth Maul in this episode. Both of the fightings were. I don't know the name of the other person. I forgot it, but she did Ahsoka's, and she did work for The Mandalorian, and Ray Park did all the motion capture for Darth Maul. So that is why it looks like Darth Maul fighting. The way, the way he kind of stabs like this in his full body.
And then the kick.
Yeah, it's a weird kick. That was Ray Park, the original Darth Maul actor, did all the motion capture for Darth Maul in this episode. That's why the fight scene looked so fucking real. It looked so good.
And it really is a testament to how good it looked, where I noticed it in the moment. I'm sure you guys did too, where it was immediately different than other Clone Wars battles. Like KenJac said, usually they're so fast that you can't really tell what's going on. Sometimes you can, but it'll go into that almost dust flurry where it's like, all right, they're just battling now. This one, you can tell every movement, every single movement.
Yeah, the saber start to finish is 2 frames, and it's it's just gone. But in this, it's like everything's really fluid and slow, and really, it's so.
They treat it as like a movie. They spent most of their time on this. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, when the eventual Rebels sequel happens, that is completely rumored all over the place right now. I hope they treat it way more like this, and that give us 2 movies a season or something. Give us 8 episodes and do 2 4-episode arcs like this, and put all your time into that. That would be amazing. Imagine getting this every week.
Mm-hmm.
This I would rather something cinematic like this. You're right, than just a series. Maybe that's a bit crazy to ask for, but I don't know. That's where I'm at now, because this has been so much fun. These last 2 episodes have been so much fun.
Yeah. We're spoiled.
We are. I can't wait for somebody. Would you rather somebody edit together this as one movie, or edit it with Revenge of the Sith? I almost want to say
both. I want to see both, but I would say, as far as just an enjoyable experience overall, just this together.
Mm-hmm. I definitely want to see both. Just while we're on the subject of Maul, I just want to shout out Sam Witwer. Great screamer. Such a great screamer. Between this, The Mist, The Force Unleashed, all those things. Such a great scream guy.
And then one more I caught. I don't know if this is an Easter egg, but Dave Filoni, the guy knows Star Wars 10 times more than we do, so I assume it is. Ahsoka taunts Maul, and Maul replies about you have the arrogance of Obi-Wan, and she says, "You'll find I'm full of traits you won't like." Had a very "you'll find I'm full of surprises" moment, like Luke in Empire Strikes Back. He says, "You'll find I'm full of surprise," and he immediately attacks, because she says the same thing. "You'll find I'm full of blank," and then immediately attacks him. It had that exact thing. We just watched Empire. That might be the reason why, but it felt a lot like Luke. Though, again, remember, Luke said that and then got his ass kicked, so it wasn't. Luke, you weren't really full of surprises yet. Should have stayed for your training.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
Questions and comments. I just picked a couple cool theories and things from the Star Wars Reddit they picked up on. The-Power-Stone said the throne room scene had a lot of Last Jedi vibes, with all the mist, the dust or whatever, and debris in the broken window. And he literally had the hand the same exact way, join me. And the side-by-side is uncanny. User Blonglick Zombie said, "We'll be fine as long as we stay together," was a quote that Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan had in one episode, and now they're all apart and they're not fine. So Obi-Wan said that. He was right. If they stick together, they did not, and it's bad now. Things are bad. And finally,
can you imagine the alternate universe where they do stick together? Like, what does that look like? Do they all go to Tatooine together? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe Obi-Wan kills both of them. He becomes bad. Who knows? Maybe it's not as bad.
Darth Obi.
This was an Easter egg, but I left it for theories because I want to talk about the way it lines up. My name blank says, so Maul, when he initially attacks and starts the lightsaber duel, you hear the Sidious yell. You know the yell he makes when he spins and attacks Mace?
Yeah.
It is the same exact yell. And I'm not sure it's him, but you hear it. So this question is, does the Sidious yell with Maul happen as he kills Mace Windu in Revenge of the Sith? Because I don't know if it lines up. There's one thing that gets in the way here, and people noted it, and this is the first thing I thought of. We have not seen Mace Windu say, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi yet. That was teased in the trailer. We're not sure we'll get that. We may not get that moment. It may be cut. So I don't know if it lines up exactly, but the way he teases like Utapau and then the time that takes place between, I wouldn't be shocked if the Maul and Ahsoka battle happened as Sidious kills Mace. But I'm going to say for now, no. But if you told me it did, I wouldn't be shocked because of the yell. The yell might be the thing that syncs it up.
Yeah. It makes sense to me. Just like chronologically speaking, I think it could fit unless they really, really, really needed to get that one Mace Windu scene in.
Yeah, I don't know. Like something tells me, because when does the I sense the plot to destroy the Jedi happen? When does he say that? About
midway through, I want to say.
I think it's right around when they ask him to spy on the Chancellor, no? Or am I going crazy there?
Oh, is it way early then? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's when they say it. And then like it's after Anakin leaves and agrees to spy on him. And they say like, why are we doing this, blah, blah, blah. And Mace says like, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
I think you're right.
I think. Yeah. So maybe that even happened already.
Yeah, there's a chance. So there's a chance in the next episode may pull back a little bit, flashback. It may take place a little different timeline. I like I actually think I like this. You're right. I think it makes sense that may have just been cut, or the next episode we see something that happened a little earlier in time with Obi-Wan and Anakin. Maybe, I don't know. It makes sense at the end of this episode, like the end of the last one, would have some cues of when things might have synced up.
Yeah.
Possible. Any final thoughts? I don't think we have too much to tease. We don't get any teased moments because I don't want to see anything either. I just want to see the episode Friday. Then the last one is next Monday, May the 4th. So we get the last two parts of this movie on May the 1st and May the 4th. I'm pumped. I don't know where they're going to take it next. It's going to be it's only going to get crazier. That's the thing. It's only going to get more insane because they're about to have the most tragic thing happen with Order 66.
I'm really excited. I have no idea where they're going to end this thing. And another testament to how good this is that throughout the entire episode, I was like, yeah, you got to fucking stop that Sidious guy. He sounds like he's up to no good, even though I know what's going on.
You already know. That's a good point. I think the one thing I'm super looking forward to is seeing Order 66 happen live from an angle other than Revenge of the Sith, because every single piece of media in which you see Order 66 happen elsewhere outside of the movies is always cool. It doesn't matter if it's a video game, if it's like another short, it's always cool. And seeing it from Ahsoka's perspective is going to be fucking awesome.
I think that's it. I got nothing else. May the 1st, we'll have another breakdown. I don't know how we're going to have the one on May the 4th because Westworld season finale is that day as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure that out.
Mandalorian behind the scenes specials that day.
Too much stuff, but I'm not complaining. We're in quarantine. But regardless, May the 1st, part 3, we'll have the breakdown. If you're on YouTube, let us know what you think happens next. Did the Maul Sidious yell? Did that line up with when Sidious attacks and tries to kill Mace? I don't know. Maybe it does. But yeah, let us know below. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you know when these drop. For KenJac and Robbie, I'm Jeff Lowe. We'll talk to you next time.